all, thank you very much to all of you yang dah berjaya dan menyiapkan betul proposal ABP791 dan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan saya kepada semua advisor yang membantu pelajar-pelajarnya untuk pastikan mengikut aturan yang telah ditentukan. Alhamdulillah. So saya pun tak nak mengambil masa yang panjang sangat, cumanya sedikit information to both parties, advisor dan advisee. Advisor telah diberikan MyEva terlebih dahulu dan dalam MyEva tu dah lengkap. Sebarang penambahbaikan boleh berbincang dengan student, tetapi MyEva perlu diuji selepas pembentangan inilah. Okey, sebenarnya buat pengetahuan semua, pembentangan ini adalah usaha UiTM Johor untuk pastikan pelajar-pelajar ABP791 bersedia untuk VIVA pada masa akan datang. Okey, tetapi markah solely akan diberikan oleh advisor masing-masing. Harap semua clear Okey.
Yeah.
So, sebarang input yang diberikan oleh advisor dan juga mungkin ada advisor tambahan yang menunggu di talian boleh diambil kira. It's a feel free platform for all of you to share, tetapi dalam jangka masa yang telah ditetapkan lah ya. Jangan lebih sebab takut nanti masa VIVA nanti kita akan rekodkan pembentangan. Bila kita rekodkan pembentangan, bila review untuk markah handal nanti, mereka akan kata you guys exceed the time limit and everything semua. So biasakan orang kata yang betul lah. InsyaAllah. So for that, I'm wishing you again all the best for your presentation. InsyaAllah selepas pembentangan ini dan selepas markah diberikan dan selepas keputusan keluar, baru kita akan proceed dengan REC dan advisor akan advise untuk isi REC mulai selepas pembentangan lah. Tetapi submission selepas keluar markah nanti, keluar subjek nantilah result. Okay? Alright, for that, thank you very much. All the best and good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Saidah. Shall we proceed?
Yes, you may proceed.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and selamat pagi. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Tahirah, to our panel, Dr. Azlin, to our advisor, Dr. Noor Azariah, and individuals who have wholeheartedly supported us in reaching this stage. It's truly invaluable and we find it impossible to repay or adequate knowledge. Without further ado, I am delighted to present a proposal of research study titled Determinant of Turnover Intention Among Workforce in Malaysia Marine and Heavy Engineering Sdn Bhd. This research study conducted by myself, Muhammad Sufian bin Yahya, my colleague Siti Mahirah binti Kamaldin, and Tuan Amru Hassan bin Tuan Yusof. This addresses the critical issue of employee turnover within Malaysia Marine and Heavy Engineering, or after this we call MMHE. The finding of this research relationship between construct or wherever will hold significant implication for organizational retention strategies and contribute to the broader understanding of turnover intention in the context of maritime and heavy engineering sectors. Abstract. Over the last 4 years, rate of turnover intention in the fabricator yard of Malaysia Marine and Heavy Engineering, or MHE, has grown rapidly from 147 to 265 cases. Although turnover is nothing new for this maritime industry, yet aftermath from the employee separation is critically affected MHE productivity and overall performance, as these are many possible reasons that may cause an employee could not stay put in current organization. A study of turnover intention among the workforce in MHE is deemed appropriate and very important. It's not only to our study but also to our company. So through our research, we identify several factors that may contribute to turnover intention among MHE employees. By understanding this factor, we hope to provide actionable recommendations that can help MHE reduce the rate of turnover intention and improve employee retention. So we go to chapter 1. So background of the study. So first, enhance understanding of the issue. According to a study by Zainal And her colleague in 2022, the voluntary turnover rate in Malaysia supposed the median of 10% observed in all main Asia Pacific market in 2017, standing at 12.8%. Second, enhanced understanding on turnover intention. So according to MetLife 2022, turnover intention is defined as an employee prediction or deliberation intent to resign from their position or depart from organization within a designated time frame. And third, impact of turnover. What's the impact on turnover? Evaluate rate of the employee attrition have the potential to greatly impede the smooth operation of organization and jeopardize the achievement and sustained success of novel undertaking as cited by Knight, Beacon and Flynn in 2013. We begin to unravel the layers of the important study. We dive into the background of the study, highlighting the context in which the issue of turnover intention arise. Let me explain about the background of the MMHC. So, was incorporated in 1973, almost 15 years, and listed in market of Bursa Malaysia Security Berhad in 2010. So total workforce is about 3,300, and as of now 3,360. We highly skilled workforce and nationwide. The total fabrication per year 130,000 metric ton per year, and we have 2 yards. So the total man hour spent almost 46 million man hour recorded annually for the past 3 years. So in terms of organization of this MHB holding, divide into 3. So MHC Engineering, MHC International, and TMH. So collaboration with the Technic Energies. So under MHC Engineering, we have 7 subsidiaries. We are on the left top under MHC Engineering. We have 2 yard, East Yard and West Yard. The total almost 2 million meter cube. Okay, this is a problem statement. Rising turnover numbers with the highest turnover of 147 cases, as I mentioned just now, with 860 cases happen across the department named Marine Operation, where we focus into 3 departments: Marine Operation, Heavy Engineering, and Support Unit. The graph shown on 2020, 2021, 22, and 23. And the trend is not showing a good trending for the company. As we examine in the problem statement, we will highlight the critical issue that have led to the need for our study. We clarify the specific factor led to the turnover intention observed within a company or machine, and offering an understanding of the impact on organization, productivity, stability, and overall performance.
Next is research objective. Objective number 1 is to determine the influence of compensation towards turnover intention in MMHE. Objective number 2, to determine the influence of workload towards turnover intention in MMHE. Objective number 3, to determine the influence of supervisor support towards turnover intention in MMHE. Objective number 4, to determine the influence of job control turnover intention in MMHE. Objective number 5, to determine the influence of the role conflict turnover intention in MMHE. And lastly, objective number 6, to determine the most influential factor affecting turnover intention in MMHE. This is research question. Question number 1, does the compensation influence turnover intention in MMHE? Question number 2, does the workload influence turnover intention in MMHE? Question number 3, does the supervisor support influence the turnover intention in MMHE? Question number 4, Does the job control influence turnover intention in MMSE? Number 5, does the role conflict influence turnover intention in MMSE? And lastly, what is the most influential factor affecting turnover intention in MMSE?
Thank you, Mahira and Cik Supian. I will continue on the significance of the study, whereby the study will help organization MMHE to identify why people opt to leave from the organization. This will minimize impact, whereby MMHE can take proactive measure to minimize the impact on its operation, and the study will provide actionable recommendation that can help the organization to appropriate design necessary action that reduce the rate of turnovers. So let me continue with the definition of the term. First, we start with compensation. According to Rojikino, Abdul Chirol, and Fadila in 2023, compensation is the entire remuneration received by an employee in the form of money or otherwise, such as salary, wages, bonus, incentive, and different advantage, along with health insurance, vacation allowance, food allowance, and also leave pay. So secondly, for the workload, refer to the amount of the work that is allocated to an employee to do, according to Imran Qureshi et al. In 2013. And we shall continue with the supervisor support. According to Sari and Diane Gabriel, in 2016, supervisor is considered as a socio-emotional resource that can reduce stress from family work conflict. On the job control is a discretion given to employees in determining how to implement job responsibilities, according to Jacqueline, Pankage, and Jake in 2011. So we continue with the role conflict. According to Suhaib, Kamran, Javid Yasir, and Arsalan Khan in 2014, the role conflict that is sometimes called the role stress related to the work environment is caused when the job to be done, the task to be accomplished, and the duty to be assigned to employees are not clearly defined, described, and also specified. Last but not least, for the turnover intention, refer to an employee's willingness or intention to voluntarily quit their job or leave a company within a specific time frame, according to Matilda 2022. For chapter summary, I hand over to Cik Supian.
For the chapter summary, this chapter provides a concise overview of our research background, objective, question, and the significance of addressing high turnover rate within the machine. It set the stage for the subsequent chapters, where the study will dive into the specific causes of high turnover, analysis the implication on MMHE operation. Through this study, we aim to contribute valuable insight to MMHE effort to maintain a stable, skilled workforce and achieve sustainable growth. In my personal view, with this chapter would emphasize the significance of the research beyond its immediate application to MMHE, positioning it as a valuable contribution to the academic and professional understanding of turnover intention and its determinants. We will move forward with chapter 2, focusing on the literature review without any undue delay. The turnover intention, the precursor to actual turnover, is a complex and multi-stage process influenced by various factors. This include negative psychology response to the job context, Takashi 20110, and the management behavior such as providing feedback and attending to employee need, Paul and Render 2021. Job characteristic, work centrality, and organizational commitment, Worksheet 2020, and the relationship between the human resource development factors and turnover intention, Nawas, Pangil, and Bati 2016. Lastly, the role of a mentor, disengagement, and positive reinterpretation in mediating the relationship between the stress and turnover intention has also been explored by Chief Peng, Yuan Hui, and Ferdinand 2017. The job satisfaction, original commitment, and work family conflict has been found to be significant predictor by using Southney and Tortorella 2017, Said Wasim, Sikander and Rizwan 2014. Other factors include work stress, age, education level, work culture, work pressure, workload, marital status and job insecurity by Apreni and Seriga 2023. The human resource development factor such as salary, performance, appraisal training and career growth also play a role by Nawas Pagi and Betty 2017 2016. The impact of employee engagement factor as turnover intention mediated by job satisfaction has been explored by Mary LML 208. And then the relationship between this factor and turnover intention has been studied in various contexts, including manufacturing, by Yutin, Shawnee, and Tortorella 017. Okay, it also studied done by Mustika Prihanto Winarno 2021 and Rahman and Sariza 2018. Both found the compensation and benefit along the career development has negative influence on turnover intention. So, and then by Vanderburch and Tremblay 2008, who found that the pay satisfaction is negatively related to turnover intention. The influence of decomposition on turnover intention is further explored by Abidin and Iqbal in 2019, who found decomposition, work motivation, original commitment all have a negative effect to turnover intention. Also, there's a study by Maina Rodia and SH in 2015 and also Murti Suviani Desiree in 2023. Both found that compensation along with the work motivation and workload significantly affect the turnover intention. Overall, the literature review emphasized the multifaceted nature of turnover intention and the need for comprehensive approach to address it. The literature review on the compensation cost. Okay, and also mentioned by Rahman and Sariza in 2018 and also by Bat Nasir, Mati Seveni and Maina Rodiah and SF 2015. They also talking about the compensation who are contribute to the resignation of the employee. So as I said in summary, as overall, this study suggests that compensation can play a significant role in reducing turnover intention. Now I would like to pass to next team member Mahira for another literature review.
Literature review number 3 is workload. A range of factors have been identified as influencing turnover intention, including work stress, workload, job satisfaction, organizational commitment, work-family conflict, and relationship with co-worker by Apreni and Siriga 2023. Workload in particular has been found to have a significant positive effect on turnover intention by Ruhyat, Jingga Hernita, Ridwan, and Aryadi 2022. Next is the other journals suggest that high workload can lead to increased turnover intention. However, the relationship between workload and turnover intention can be moderated by factors such as salary satisfaction by Ruhyat, Jingga Hernita, Ridwan, and Aryadi 2022. Wibowo, Setiawan, and Yuniarinto 2021 found while workload did not directly influence turnover intention, it did have a negative impact on employees. Kurniawan Solihin 2023 and Hidayah Chairuddin 2020 both found a positive and significant relationship between workload and turnover intention. Javid and all 2014 and Qureshi 2013 also identified a positive relationship between job stress, which can be influenced by workload and turnover intention. So the hypothesis for workload is workload has a significant effect towards turnover intention among employees in MMHE. And the definition of workload is workload refer to the amount of work that allocated to an employee to do by Imran Qureshi 2013. Next is literature review number 4, supervisor support. Supervisor support has consistently been found to have a negative association with turnover intention by Al-Shutwi 2017. The relationship is mediated by effective commitment, Nichols, Swanberg, and Bright 2016, emotional exhaustion, Fukui Wu and Peace Layers 2019, and job satisfaction by Iqbal, Hengyun, Akhtar, and Ahmad 2020. The relationship between supervisor support and turnover intention is further influenced by supervisor leadership style and employees' motivation by Suharti and Setiawati 2018. Perceived supervisor support along the perceived organizational support and organizational commitment also plays a significant role in reducing turnover intention. So the hypothesis for this supervisor support has significant effect towards turnover intention among employees in MMHE. And the definition of term supervisor is considered as an socio-emotion resources that can reduce stress from family work conflict by Sari and Diane Gabriel 2016. Next, I'll pass to Tuan Amru for job control.
Thank you, Mahira. I shall continue with literature review for job control, which is our hypothesis number 4. Job control has significant effect toward turnover intention among employees in MMHE. So we have a few cited from Lee and Jiang in 2017, Liu and Chiu in 2018, also Iqbal Ibrat in 2015, and Johan and Peterson in 2015. So next, I will continue with the literature number 5, role conflict, which is our hypothesis number 5. On the role conflict has significant effect toward turnover intention among employees in MHE. So under this review, we have Javid et al. 2014, Rubel, Key, and Rimi in 2017, Lee Kim Park and Park 2015, Sultan, Lestari, Arif, and Putra in 2020, Pawais, Batul, Khalid, and Aftad in 2015, Huang and Cheng 2012, Hill, Chevenet, and Potras 2015, Al-Shamri in 2021. Last but not least is Hill, Chevenet, Potras in 2015. So in terms of next. In terms of study conceptual framework, we can see here, as briefed earlier, that the independent variable will be the compensation as per hypothesis number 1 toward the turnover intention on dependent variable. Continue with the second hypothesis on the workload, third hypothesis on the supervisor support, and hypothesis number 4, job control, and hypothesis number 5 on the role conflict as independent variable.
So this is hypothesis development. Hypothesis number 1 is compensation scheme has significant effect towards turnover intention among employee in MMHE. Hypothesis number 2, workload has significant effect towards turnover intention among employees in MMHE. Hypothesis number 3, supervisor support has significant effect towards turnover intention among employee in MMHE. Hypothesis number 4, job control has significant effect towards turnover intention among employee in MMHE. And lastly is hypothesis number 5, role conflict has significant effect towards turnover intention among employee in MMHE.
The summary of the chapter 2. This chapter provides a comprehensive overview of the determinant of turnover intention and drawing on existing research literature to develop hypothesis and conceptual framework. By examining the impact of compensation, which H1, workload, supervisor support, job control, and role conflict, The chapter aimed to shed light on the multifaceted nature to turn around intention and provide valuable insight for organizations seeking to mitigate turnover. The chapter set the stage for the future research and empirical studies to further explore and validate the relationship between this determinant and turnover intention.
So I will continue on the research methodology. On the research design, basically research design is a foundation for data collection, measurement, and data analysis. We will use a quantitative method to ensure a thorough analysis on the research issue. Is our method. And for the survey, the research participant will be administered a survey questionnaire. And the purpose of the survey is to identify the variable that impact worker inclination to resign.
Research sampling design is convenient sampling in which participants are chosen at random from among MMHA employees who are at the office. For the sizing, is calculated using G-power statistical analysis with minimum total sample of size 92. The number of sample will be 165, which are 5% of the population. For the instrument, we adapt from reputable scholarly literature. The evaluation, we use Likert scale, 5 points will be utilized in the surveys.
The data analysis. So the survey will be analyzed using the statistical software SPSS to identify the pattern and correlation and statistical significance. Described statistic data will be presented using the table, chart, and the graph. Correlation testing, relationship between the IV and DV to be analyzed. Hypothesis tests and goodness of the fit. And next, model assumption of final. So let me explain on the step by step how we're going to do this research. First, first step, we determine the sample size using G power or statistical power analysis tool or software. And then we set the input parameter such as the effect size. We are using 0.15 moderate, and then significant level 0.05, and then desired statistical power we're using 0.8 or 80% chance. So by calculate the required sample size based on this parameter, we related to this predictor where we have predictor of 5 IV. Step number 2, collect the data and using the survey at the employee at the workplace as mentioned by Mahira just now. And once the sample size is determined, collect the data from the employee based on the calculated sample size. And step number 3, perform multiple regression using statistical software such as where we are using IBM SPSS to conduct multiple regression analysis. The input the collected data on the independent variable where we hash H1 up to H5 and the independent variable employee turnover intention. Then we reveal the relationship between the independent variable and employee turnover intention. Then step number 4, we interpret the result, evaluate the output from the multiple regression analysis to understand the significance and magnitude of the relationship between the IV and the DV. By following this simplified step, the study can be gained insight into the factor contributing the high turnover rate and develop strategy for improvement employee retention within the organization. So let's go to the summary of the chapter 3. The research design and methodology for the study will rely on the Likert scale question to gather quantitative data on the determinant of the turnover intention. The use of Likert scale question will be provide a structure approved for the measuring variable such as compensation, workload, supervisor support, job control, and role conflict. We believe that by utilization and quantitative research, design methodology, the study aimed to provide valuable insight into the factors that influence employee intention to leave their current job. Thank you. So this we end our presentation.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mona, can I start the Q&A session?
Boleh boleh ada masa sikit.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. To Sufyan, Amru and Mahira, congratulations for being here today for our presentation sessions. There are a few corrections that should be made to your presentations today. Among others is regarding your time management. You exceed 20 minutes time frame given to you, you reach until 28 minutes, okay? That's another 8 minutes extra. And then another thing is regarding your presentation. By right, you should not be wasting your time presenting all the overview of summary semua tu tak payah. Actually, you don't have to do that because that will save another few minutes. And then some of your citations are not following the APA citation styles. There are few mistakes observed in your presentations. And then some of your literature review more than last 5 years. I detected literature review on 2010 somehow just now. And then what else? Your literature review presentation is quite lengthy. It's good to have a lengthy literature review in your report, but not in your presentations. Okay, it's too lengthy just now. And then some more during your presentations on methodology part, you only mentioned about doing correlation testing. But again, do not forget that you also have your 6 objectives on identifying the most influential factors among those studied variables. So you need to have another analysis to do that, and that will not come from any correlation testing. Okay?
Okay.
Ingat tu. Okay. I would like to ask the first questions to Tuan Amru. Out of so many factors that may contribute to turnover intentions, how you decide on these 5 variables?
So on these 5 variables, basically we at the level of problem statement, we refer to some studies done by earlier to determine influencer on the turnover intention in Meiji, which comprised of Rojikino Abdul Jadi in 2023 on the influence on conversation, and Dwita and Adrima in 2022, together with Imran Qureshi in 2013 on the influence of workload toward MHE.
So basically, you are referring to the previous literature review to identify these 5 potential variables to turnover intentions.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next question for Tuan Sufian will be, why your group chose for a quantitative study of doing survey instead of conducting an interview sessions to your potential respondent?
So based on our study and reference related to the high intention, the multiple analysis is the what we call this appropriate tool for us to use compare than others.
Okay. And then to Mahira, how you decide whether an instrument is reliable or not? It was stated in your slide just now that all of the chosen instruments will come from the previous valuable literature, right? So how you decide on which instruments is the right instruments for your group to use?
Instrument. It depends on the predictors or
Yes.
the independent, which is the independent variable.
And then how you decide on the right and the good instruments, the questions. What will be the reliability value then? 0 point?
Sorry, 0 point.
What will be the reliability
The reliability.
from Alpha? How you decide on a good instrument? You will find thousands of instruments. You will find thousands of instruments in the literature review for you to use for your study. Out of so many instruments, how you decide a good one for you?
Is 0.15.
0.7. Okay, I was both of all of you stated just now that there are 3 departments evidencing high turnover, which are operations, heavy engineering, and support units, right?
Yes.
So how you decide on your sampling strategy when you have detected that these are the only 3 department showcasing high turnover intentions?
Okay, how we decide? We are based on this four in the role where employee resign, and we did have a discussion with the human resource, and based on the data, the 3 department uh, contribute most what we call resign from the company.
Okay.
And
Okay, that's all.
okay, then this the 3 department is very important.
Okay, that's all. Mona, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Azaria and Group 1.
Okay, Mona, can I kind of like give some suggestions for improvements?
Okay.
This won't take long. All right. Okay. Hi, people.
Right.
Assalamualaikum. Congratulations for making this far. It's good to see you guys again. All right. So basically, I'm just going to briefly kind of like provide some suggestions in order to improve a little bit on your proposal, in which later on going to be changed and or transferred to become your final report. All right, so basically later on, please try to watch out with the abstract awak not really up to, probably this is kind of like a different school of thought. So to me personally, I would prefer the abstracts to be written in a different manner in a way, and some of the terminologies should not to be in there, meaning to say they're kind of like macam create a little bit confusion. All right, and then moving on to the turnover rate. So you mentioned something about turnover rate in Malaysia, but somehow you tak ada mention turnover rate in the particular industry. I'm not so sure if it's written in your report sebab saya tak dapat nak baca in detail, but those are kind of like some of the important information that should be included in the presentation. With that being said, then probably in your problem statement, so yang ni sempatlah baca you punya problem statement. Your problem statement in the report is actually kind of like pretty good, but somehow sayang tak be included. So learn the art of presentation, exclude what is not necessary and do include what is important. So important usually all those statement yang strong and also the data. Apa-apa graph ke apa ke, that should be included. And then try to minimize the background of your company in your presentation, minimize on that so that we can save some of the time. All right, so in your chapter 2, to me, this is an ABP. So when it's ABP, it's applied business project. So it's applied. So when it's applied, I do expect some tools to be used, some strategic tools. So the most common tools to be used for ABP is usually the SWOT analysis. So tools are actually going to help you to come up with the recommendation. So later on kan korang buat questionnaire, distribute questionnaire and then dapat input mana yang paling significant, mana yang tak. So you guys are required to come up with the recommendations. So the tools yang korang pakai, tak kisahlah BCG Matrix ke, SWOT analysis ke, any marketing tools ke, any HR tools ke, any models, whatever, that can help you to come up with the recommendations, because we cannot provide recommendations picked up from the sky. So we need to refer to something lah. So kalau dia full academic research, then probably we may need the tools. But since it's applied, yang you nak tolong solve the company issue, then it's actually better to have tools. And basically in ABP, we do expect some tools. And then in terms of your literature, tolong buat paragraph yang panjang garangan macam tu. That's number one. Number two is we do expect to see some important key terms that you use in your questionnaire to be included kat dalam you punya literature. So your literature is actually very good. Kalau you buat by research, itu dah kira dah halfway cook dah, cantik dah. Tapi kalau boleh ada apa-apa soalan yang you tanya dekat dalam questionnaire, the keywords should be also included sebab there's no point you cerita something else tapi you tak tanya benda tu. So sebab tu you kena includekan sikit. And then I would suggest you to change. It's not hypothesis development, it's actually hypothesis statement. So kalau development, you cerita all the relationship and blah 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 blah, and then you tulis the hypothesis. But in your report, you state the hypothesis apa what this variable ada this relationship with another variable. So it should be a hypothesis statement. And then in chapter 3, you use G power calculator. I'm okay, but since you are going to distribute the questionnaire to the current employees, even though your problem statement is all about intention, saya macam a little bit skeptical dekat situ sebab you macam nak in a way subconsciously, kalau saya employee tiba-tiba aku dapat that kind of questionnaire, I would say, are you trying to push me away ke apa? So somehow probably this is something that you can talk to your supervisor. Kalau saya, I would change to employee satisfactions or employee yang remain dekat situ. Kenapa dia remain? Looking at the turnover rate tu memang high. So sekarang ni kenapa yang ada sekarang ni remain dekat situ? Why they remain? Kenapa dia masih ada lagi? So instead of intention, I don't know. Sebab kalau if my previous student kalau dia guna the word intention, I would suggest him or her to actually find those who actually left the company untuk tahu kenapa sebenarnya dia keluar dari company tu. So I would suggest you to change lah, but then again probably you need to talk to your SV lah. And then the last one, I would go for you punya items. So items, in order for the appropriate items to be analysed, kalau setiap variable tu ada the minimum questions of 4 questions, but some of your variables, turnover intention and also role conflict ada 3 soalan saja. So you need to be careful on that lah. So what if 3 question tak cukup untuk run analysis, and what if once you have collected the data ada lagi item yang you nak kena eliminate, so dia dah jadi 2. Bila jadi 2 tu, then probably you kena terus buang aja variable tu. So dia payahlah. So my suggestion is work with your supervisor to rephrase ke ataupun to find other sources. So it's actually better for you to find one framework yang dah stable, yang ada questionnaire juga. So you can just replicate in a way. So basically itu je lah saya punya suggestions and comments. So thank you, and by the way, congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Okay, group tu dah bersedia ke? Dr. Raja Azrin ada kan?
Ya, saya ada.
Alright.
Thank you, Dr. Raja Azrin. Group tu, all the best.
Okay, group tu dah boleh buat kat slide kot. Test.
Muna kita boleh keluar kan group first.
Actually kalau nak tunggu boleh, nak join sekali, nak dengar kawan-kawan, nak support ke, it's okay.
Okay. So our session end lah kan?
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you all.
for
Thank you.
positive comment.
Alright.
Group tu boleh open your video punya face ke, sebab tak nampak.
Assalamualaikum. Kita dah boleh start ke?
Okay, Dr. Raja, Azrin. Okay ke? Dah boleh start ke?
Ya, saya okey.
Alright. All student, all the best. Bismillah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. First and foremost, we would like to thank to our advisor, Dr. Raja Azrin, for her endless guidance to our group. We also would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Tahira and Puan Munah, coordinator of EMBA program, for organizing this presentation and guiding us. So today we are going to present on the critical success factor influencing the implementation of green initiative at Johor Port Berhad. First of all, let me introduce my team member, myself, Muhammad Fitri bin Hezzer. Next is Muhammad Firdaus. Last but not least, Musa bin Mat Said. Without further ado, let me start the presentation for chapter 1. So the title of our study is the critical success factor influencing the implementation of green initiative at Johor Port Berhad. By doing this study, we could assess Johor Port Green Initiative commitment and influencing factor. Other than that, this study will explore on the challenges of Port Green Initiative implementation. Last but not least, it could provide recommendation for enhancing Johor Port Green program. Next. So this is the background of Johor Port Berhad. Established in 1977, Johor Port operates a total of 1,000 acres that are equipped with 24 berths and currently employs more than 1,000 employees. In terms of financial performance, Johor Port managed to record 675 million in terms of revenue for year 2022, and it is forecasted that for year 2023, the revenue will be around 750 million. So basically, Johor Port is a wholly owned subsidiary of MMC Port Holdings Sdn Bhd. MMC Port is a sole entity that owns 7 ports in Malaysia, namely PTP, Pelabuhan Tanjung Perpas, Johor Port, North Port, Penang Port, Tanjung Burwas Port located at Melaka, SPT Services located at Pengerang, and Andaman Port Sdn Bhd located at Yan, Kedah. Just for the panel information, MMC Port has been named as the largest port operator in Malaysia. As for the world ranking, MMC Port ranked at number 8 in terms of largest port operating group in the world. So this is the group structure for MMC Corporation. So basically we have 5 divisions: port and logistics, energy and utilities, engineering, industrial development, and other business, which is Senai Airport City. So for background of study, first of all, the importance of port. According to Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA, the maritime industry in Malaysia contribute about 40% of Malaysia GDP. This statistic shows that port is vital for our economy, global supply chain role, environmental impact. Majority of port equipment are using diesel-based equipment such as rubber tire gantry that are being used to lift container, forklift, tugboat. So this heavily dependent on diesel-based equipment is one of the factor that impacted our environment. International regulatory guideline. So International Maritime Organization (IMO) continue to contribute to the global fight against climate change in support of the UN SDG number 13. For example, IMO has established a goal which is a net zero GHG emission for 2050 to combat the climate change. Next, Firdaus. So for problem statement, why we choose the green initiative area as our study is due to the increase of attention given to the green technology and practices For instance, the SDG established by UN has outlined several universal goals that serve as guidance for the UN state member to shape their national policy. Among the universal goals that are being outlined is clear water, SDG number 6, clean energy, SDG number 7, and climate change, SDG number 13. On top of that, as I mentioned before, I'm also has established a target for the industry player, which is net zero GHG emission for 2050. So we have listed several environmental initiatives done by Johor Port that focusing into climate change, water security, pollution and resources, and biodiversity. Next, Fidas. So based on the problem statement, we have established our research objective and research question. So our research objective is number 1, to determine the level of green initiative at Johor Port. Second, to study the key success factor that influence green initiative at Johor Port. For research question number 1, what is the level of green initiative at Johor Port? And second one is what are the key success factor influencing the green initiative at Johor Port? For the scope of the study, basically our study will comprehensively try to understand the factor that influencing Johor Port Green Initiative drive. It is significant for the key stakeholders so that it could be used to align Johor Port direction towards the SDG. Our study focus basically will zoom into 3 items, that is to determine Johor Port Green Initiative level, understand the factor influencing Johor Port Green Initiative commitment, and assess the collective impact of this factor. As for the insight and impact, this study will provide valuable insight on factor that influencing Johor Port effort towards green initiative, and it could be used to enhance the environmental sustainability in Johor Port operation. For significance of study, this will be presented by Musa.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Fitri. I will continue presenting chapter 1 on the significance of this study. We have listed 3 parties that would benefit from our research based on its importance, relevance, and value of the research continuation to the existing body of knowledge. Firstly, the importance of this research to Johor Port, aiding the management team in recognizing the factors that impact their green initiative policy, thus improving the program's chances of success. This enabled the company realizing the core values, fulfilling the requirements set by Johor Port Authority as the basis of the company's sustainability plan. Second, the relevance of this study to other organizations who are actively pursuing green initiatives to help them identify the factors that influence the positive outcome of their program. In turn, this will contribute to a more eco-conscious and sustainable global community. Thirdly, significance to the body of knowledge by providing valuable insights for future researchers and enriching analysis in this subject area. Next. Next, I will move on to explain our literature review by firstly explaining the related base view theory as a theoretical foundation to develop sustainable shipping capabilities and allocating resources for the development of a green port in Johor Port Berhad. The definition of resource-based view by Bani 1981 and 2001 states that a company's sustainable advantage is mostly due to its precious, rare, and difficult to replicate resources. According to Chigara 2021, shipping companies can pursue the development of sustainable shipping capabilities on 2 fronts, based on the dynamic perspective of research-based value theory, first by sustainable exploitation capability, or second by sustainable exploration capability. According to Adnan Hamid and Suhail 2018, the resource-based perspective companies have resources, one subset of which allows them to gain competitive advantage, another subset of which leads to superior long-term performance. The research-based value theory assesses a company's resources and capabilities in order to generate and positive financial returns, satisfy customers, and establish a long-term competitive advantage. Next. Allow me to introduce our research framework that can be seen in the diagram here. This research framework is to fulfill our research objective of, first, to determine the level of green initiative at Johor Port Berhad, which is our dependent variable, and second, to examine the key success factors that influence the adoption of green initiative at Johor Port Berhad as our independent variable. We have listed here 5 independent variables adopted from our literature review, which I will explain later in the following slides. The independent variables that were identified are 1. Environmental policy and regulation, 2. Technical leverage, 3. Economic leverage, 4. Human leverage, and 5. Operation and management. Next. Here in this slide shows the corresponding 5 hypotheses we have developed to prove the relationship between the variables. The hypothesis mentioned of the 5 independent variables has a significant effect on Johor Port Berhad green initiative success. Next. Literature review on the first independent variable, that is environmental policy and regulation, explained as a requirement to be fulfilled by driving the need to the success of green initiative. 5 articles are presented here to support the first independent variable. The articles touches on 4 areas that are: first, Johor Port Authority Green Port Strategy, identified as a key productivity index for creating a healthy, safe, and environmental managed port environment that require the involvement of all parties to set up the environmental policy and management. Second, port engagement in environmental strategy should include to evaluate, monitor, and measure the impact of decision made in the context of environmental sustainability to strategically align with environmental regulatory framework. Third, the introduction of laws and initiatives globally to promote cleaner and greener port, example like MARPOL 73/78, European Union Directive. And fourth, lastly, many national projects have been revised as a result of this law, which promotes a government regulatory approach to monitoring, controlling, and preventing pollution from materials and processes that may be harmful to human health and the environment. Next. Literature review on the second independent variable, that is technical leverage, described as the availability of technology to support the success of green initiative in Johor Port Berhad. 5 articles highlighted that are: first, in the use of information technology to improve shipping management, enabling increased competitiveness and sustainability. Second, all parties involved in port activity must have access to measurement, control tools, and training programs so they can decide how best to apply management innovations to effectively and efficiently manage the environmental impacts of their operations and activities. Third is on the development of smart ports in the global supply chain using content analysis to identify key success factors. Fourth, green and smart innovation are crucial for increasing port development competitiveness and the environmental preservation. And fifth, seek and pursue new technology and engage in green port improvement directions to construct green port working strategies are significant bearings for port environment improvement today. Next. Literature review on the third independent variable, that is economic leverage, as one of the success factors to port green initiatives, supported by 5 articles mentioning of the following areas. First, economic benefits of being environmentally responsible by improving stakeholder relations and brand image. Second, oceans are vital to national and global economies but have an adverse effect on seas and oceans that worsen marine ecosystem. And all parties involved, from ports to businesses to local and regional authorities, need to work together to create shared strategies and a balanced economic outlook. Third, green shipping concept in China has transformed from a stage of rapid development to a stage of highly development and current economic development. Fourth, green port management practices have recently gained popularity as a novel approach to balancing port economic growth with environmental concerns. And fifth, to exacerbate the impact of potential environmental threats to ports, which represents a continuous challenge for current and future generations and has multiple effects on our society, cultural, and economic values. Next, I will pass to my colleague Firdaus to continue with the presentation.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Firdaus. Thank you, Cik Musa. I will be presenting our fourth IB, which is the human leverage. For the first literature review is the sustainability-driven organization adopt a triple bottom line approach, aiming for seamless achievement of environmental, economics, and social objectives. Second, sustainable development address global challenges related to human activity in both development and developing countries. Third, environmental training is organized as a positive managerial practice to enhance port's environmental sustainability in response to growing demands. Fourth, green employee engagement training and performance management contribute to organizational environmental support when employees are highly satisfied with the organization's environmental commitments. Last but not least, the few observational studies have found a connection between HRM, which is the human resource management, and environmental performance through employees' responsibility and behavior, highlighting the importance of employees' conduct in improving environmental outcome. Next. Our last independent variable is the operation and management. First, increasing attention to the greening of port management in business practices. Second, examining of port management instrument used by top ports in Europe and Asia, including Singapore and Shanghai, China, to direct operational activities towards environmental sustainability. The third is a significant reduction in the emissions and black carbon emissions through the port Johor. Fourth is Green Port Management Initiative argues to enhance a port's operational and economic performance. Last but not least is waste management in port follow a hierarchy with priority steps, including low resources usage, reducing quantity, and minimizing toxic wastage. Next. Okay, this is the literature review for our dependent variables. The first one is allocating funds for environmental promotions campaigns such as green marketing plans enhance a company competitiveness. The second is a concept of green port, what it was introduced by the international port community to tackle climate change and environmental impact of the seaports. A third is a green development drive organized as a significant drivers influence environmental regulation, market interest, government pressure, competitor pressure, corporate social responsibility, and employee behavior. Last but not least, a green human resource management practice have a direct positive impact on long-term performance with green supply chain management practice mediating this effect. Next, we will proceed with our chapter 3, which is the methodology. So the overview of this chapter is to understand the methodology to be used in examining the critical success factor influencing the implementation of a green initiative at JPB. The component of this chapter will include the research design, sampling procedure, data collections, and data analysis plan. So the data source for us to done this study will be primarily sourced from the questionnaire distributed to the Johor Port Berhad employees. As for the research design, as a definition, research design as a foundation for data collection, measurements, and analysis. The approach we'll be using is a quantitative methods chosen for objective measurements and statistical analysis. Our focus will be to identify the cause and effect relationship between our independent variables and dependent variables. This study will be conducted at Johor Port Berhad, which is a subsidiary of MMC Port in Pasir Gudang, Johor, Malaysia. Next. As for the sampling procedure, the method that we will be using is a non-probability sampling for practical reasons and convenience. The target group is the Johor Port Berhad management teams. We will be choosing them as a samples. The adequate sample size will be 316 respondents from the total population of 1,179 total employees of the Johor Port Berhad. As an assurance, the respondents will be informed about the confidentiality and non-business use of this collected data. Next. The data collection will be collected from the management level through questionnaires. The secondary data that we provide, we use as for the contextual informations and determining the sample size. The questionnaire structure will be covering all dependents and independent variables. Variables and indicator which is clearly defined variables with linked scale measurements. Next. Plan for the data analysis. The tools that we'll be using is a statistical package for the social science, which is the SPSS. The reliability test is used to assess the internal consistency, reliability of several scores, descriptive statistic, compilation and presentation of data using tables, charts, and graphs. Correlation test is to understand the relationship between dependent and independent variables. The hypothesis testing, multiple regression analysis to accept or reject the null hypothesis. The R-squared will be used to measure of the dependent variables explained by the independent variables. The model assumption is the linearity, significance, and beta coefficients. The model finalization, inclusion of significant independent variables in the multiple linear regression models. Next. That's all from our group. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Well done. To this group. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Okay. Can you hear me? Yes.
Doctor.
All right. Okay. So basically, you have presented within 20 minutes. Okay. Well done. Okay, the first one on your first chapter, okay, with regard to the problem statement, it's good that you have relate that the what's the issue, means why in the first place that you want to do this research. So you have highlighted the importance of SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, and also about the net zero carbon, okay, on the aim to achieve the net zero carbon by 2050. So all these things are very important, that in the first place why you do this research, what's the problem and what's the main issue. So it's good. And then next you move on to the framework that you're going to use, the DV and IV. It's like you're normally when we want to come out with means like the framework, you must base on a certain theory or maybe one or two theories. So in this case, you have highlighted the use of a resource-based view theory. Okay, maybe you also included the triple bottom line theory by Elkington 1994 or Barney 1991 on the resource-based view theory. So it's good because when you have the variables, you must base on some theory. It's not like how do you get all these variables that will influence your DV. So it's good that it must be based on something. So in this case, you are using the soft theory. So look at the variables and then look at the literature, how they form the variables, okay? How you gather all these variables, okay? Based on the literature and based on the theory that guide you. And then for the sample size, maybe you can look at Bugis and Sekaran basis of selecting the number of samples for your study. And then also when you do the multiple regression, also look on the assumptions maybe later on when you run the data. So look at the assumptions like the multicollinearity, the heteroscedasticity, normality of the residuals, etc. So I think overall that's from me. Maybe I pass to maybe Dr. Tahira or some other panels.
Thank you, Dr. Jazin. Saya open the session to every advisor yang lain untuk bagi komen.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Prof.
Salam.
It's great to see you back.
Nice to see you too, Prof.
And congratulations, you have reached another important milestone. This is the mock Viva, or sometimes we call it DRP, Defense Research Proposal. And yeah, it's a big research. I just want to add on what Dr. Azrin was saying. Regarding the problem statement, I think you have put out some narrative to it. And you've got to probably make it more clear what are the issues that you want to investigate, but the gap, for example, and that will explain the reason why the study is called for. For example, what are the factors that influence those issues? You have outlined some of the issues. What are those factors that influence those issues? It could be something wrong with the approach, the method, the policy, the mechanism that appear to be ineffective in terms of, for example, green technology adopted by Johor Port. And furthermore, you probably want to also highlight what are some more current trends regarding the green of the port that probably the JPB has been left overlooked. For example, in terms of technology, they probably are lagging behind in terms of the best or the most cost effective or effective measure or approach in adopting to green technology. Furthermore, you probably want to highlight what the root cause of the issues that needs closer attention. What causes the issue? So you remember I mentioned what the main issue, what the factors influence, what are the current trends that probably they overlooked, what are the root cause of the issues, and are there something that indicate that the problem is real? So if you can provide more detail on this, that will be making your problem statement more stronger, stronger and valid, so that it justify, and also maybe you can also highlight, I think, general for other proposal as well, what would be the consequences if those issues are not addressed. So you see, one point to another led to the strong reasons behind this research to be studied. And then we talk about gap. It could be theoretical gap, it could be practical gap. So normally you may find in many research problem statement there are also lack of research focus in this particular area that you wanted to focus on. There are probably some variables that are not covered from in the previous study that you wanted to dig further on those variables. That's basically the theoretical gap that you probably wanted to also address in your problem statement. So since there are practical gap, there could be policy gap, there could be theoretical gap, there could be some technological gap. So there are a number of areas, but the best is if you can relate to your key variables in your research objective and research question. So that will make it more coherent. It tied everything well, linked everything, more coherent analysis. I think that's about it. All the best for your future study.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Okay, very short, because your SV and also Prof has mentioned the same thing. I also wanted to touch on your problem statement. So basically your problem statement is quite lengthy on the SDG part. So some of the SDG part maybe boleh pindahkan, maybe push it to be under your background of studies, probably. Because there were lack of issues, but because you spend too much of your time and effort in writing the problem statement part using the SDG only, tapi you macam terlupa pasal all the gaps and also the issues. You did mention about the issues, tapi like very brief and very general, in which you had mentioned pasal financial, the company or Johor Port face some obstacles, and then you mentioned something about the management and also the financial, tapi you did not elaborate on it. So I'm guessing the financial and also the management, it's actually part and parcels of the issues, tapi dia tak being elaborated. So you should probably elaborate on that lah. And then yang lain-lain tu boleh ikut apa Prof cakap. And then in terms of your LR, the variables were not really discussed. The LR part based on the briefly what I read just now, is basically you mentioned why is it being important to be included as part and parcel of the variables and also part and parcel of the framework, rather than actually explaining the variables. You macam cakap it's important to include, it's important. You mentioned that it's important, why the variable is important, but you tak mention why the variables is actually important in the frame, in the practical views or something like that. I'm not so sure whether you can get what I meant or not, but basically you just mentioned the importance of including it in the framework, but not important in the whole general research lah, in a way. And then please include you punya academic construct I saw that you mentioned something about using SWOT and also PESTEL, but you tak draw the academic constructs. So please draw the academic constructs lah. How do you want to include the PESTEL in your actually framework? And last but not least is your primary data. You mentioned that you're going to use questionnaire, tapi there's one simple sentence at the end of the paragraph, the questionnaire will be used. Tapi you tak justify why you use the questionnaire. Nak simple je, why questionnaire? All right. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the group 2 and the advisor, Dr. Rajazrin. We can continue group 3.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dah boleh proceed Okay.
Boleh je.
Bismillah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, very good morning to all the panel and our supervisor. So, today we will present our research proposal, namely examining factors influencing intention and participation in income zakat contribution among civil servants in Johor Bahru, Muar and Pasir Gudang, Johor. A case study of Ma'id zakat collection. So, first of all, we will introduce ourselves. So, my name is Zura binti Muhammad Isa.
My name is Muhammad Haikal bin Safian.
My name is Alina.
I will explain chapter 1, Haikal will explain chapter 2, and Noreen will chapter 3. Background of study, zakat is one of 5 pillars of Islamic law. 3 types of almsgiving to which every Muslim is obligated to make contributions. Zakat can be classified into 2 types, which is zakat fitrah and zakat harta. According to Osman Nayan 2019, previous research stated that the predominant share of zakat collection in Malaysia, including Johor, primarily came from zakat on employment income. As stated also by Osman and Nayan 2019, the overall zakat fund collection in Malaysia remains significantly lower than the tax collection carried out by Inland Revenue Department. While zakat is recognized as a crucial element in the financial system and economic progress, the significant gap between the collected amount and the number of eligible or potential payers is causing considerable concern. If you see in figure 1, as per Ma'id Zakat report, figure will illustrate zakat collection increased from 2020 to 2022. Subsequently, the total collection decreased to 258,884,213 and 43% in 2023. So the overall count of zakat payers has seen a reduction on 10.45% from 2022 to 2023. If you see figure 2, almost all regions except for Kota Tinggi decreased in the number of zakat payer from year 2022 to 2023. Also, if you see in figure 3, percentage reductions in Johor Bahru, Muar and Pasir Gudang are 7%, 12% and 9% respectively. These 3 regions are among those experiencing the highest decreases percentage in zakat payers. According to Osman and Nayan, income zakat is a predominant share in zakat collection. Hence, this study will focus on income zakat. So, some previous study, as examples from Bahrain 2019 previous study, he studies the relationship between payment of income zakat and religion, zakat admission and payment method involve Muslim teachers in Tangkap. So, due to the lack of research of Johor civil servant, this study aims to delve deeper into this gap. So, background in industry, zakat institution in Malaysia are the non-profit organizations specifically focused on zakat collection and distributions. Each state in Johor is 2,800. Shows that different states have different income zakat based on the value of eligible in that states. So this is the examples of income zakat collections. Basically, income zakat is 2.5% from the net annual income if the net annual income achieve or excess the nisab. So, Majlis Agama Islam Negeri Johor established in 1925 based on enactment 16, Enakmen Pentadbiran Agama Islam Negeri Johor 2003 stipulate that Majlis Agama Islam Negeri Johor as zakat institutions responsible for managing and administering zakat in Johor. There are several alternatives introduced by Majlis Agama Islam as shown in their website. By way of examples are online payment and salary deduction to encourage zakat collection, but MAIS still faces the same challenges every year, which is they are unable to meet the expected collection. So according to data.gov.my 2023, the Malay population in Johor aged 25 and above amounts to 1,250,600 individuals. Conversely, the Majlis Agama Islam Zakat report until September 2003 indicates that the number of income zakat payers is only 82,188 individuals. If you see figure 4, it shows that the actual income zakat collections until September 2023 is 114,869,252 cents. However, their expected collection is 174,460,000. It shows that MAH only achieved 66% from the expected income zakat collection for year 2023. Figure 5 also shows that zakat collection versus Majlis Agama Islam targets by regions. We can see that all regions are unable to meet the Majlis Agama Islam Johor collection target. Figure 6 also shows that Johor Bahru, Muar and Pasir Gudang have recorded the lowest percentage in achieving Majlis Agama Islam expected collection, which is Johor Bahru only achieved 60%, Muar only achieved 65%, and Pasir Gudang only achieved 66%. So this is the implication of the low contribution of income zakat payment in Johor. First is deficient management of zakat. Second is hinders Muslim economic growth. Third, hinder effort to combat poverty. And lastly is an ability to narrow social gap. So this is our research objective. First is to identify the level of Johor civil servant intention towards zakat on income contribution. Second is to identify the effect of Johor civil servant attitude toward intention or income zakat contributions. Third, to identify the effect of Johor civil servant knowledge toward intention on income zakat contributions. Fourth, to identify the effect of government policies toward intention on income zakat contributions. Fifth, to identify the effect of MAH credibility toward intention on income zakat contributions. Six, to identify the effect of MAH transparency towards intention on income zakat contribution. And lastly is to propose some recommendation for maximizing zakat contributions among civil servants in Johor. For our research questions, first is what is the level of Johor civil servant intention in zakat on income contributions? Second question is, does attitude positively affect intention of income zakat contributions? Third is, does knowledge positively affect income contributions? Does government policies positively affect intention of income zakat contributions? Fifth, does MAH credibility positively affect intention of income zakat contributions? Sixth, does MAH transparency positively affect intention of income zakat contribution? And lastly is what recommendations can be proposed to enhance zakat contribution among civil servants in Johor? So our scope of research, this study exclusively focused on several variables, which is attitude, knowledge, policy, credibility, transparency, and intention on income zakat contributions. Additionally, this research was conducted between October and November 2023, so the findings are reflective on that time frame. The study's respondents were Johor civil servants residing in Johor Bahru, Muar, and Pasir regions exhibit the highest percentage of failure to achieve Majlis Agama Islam Negeri Johor zakat collection target. So the research approach selected combined qualitative with quantitative research approach by giving online questionnaire to respondents. Some significance of the research. First, for academician and researcher, this study aims to advance understanding in this area. The findings hope to serve a valuable information for future research on these subjects. Second, for Majlis Agama Islam Negeri Johor, hopefully this research provide insights to help Majlis Agama Islam formulate strategies where can improve the future collection of zakat income and achieve their annual target. For Johor, it may expand the growth and development of zakat in Johor, increase the distribution of assistance to those in need, and alleviate poverty in the Johor. Also, from Johari 2050, suggest that zakat presents a significant opportunity in poverty alleviation by creating a fund. The several definition of terms, which is first is income zakat, second is knowledge, where knowledge of individual to income zakat, zakat institution and zakat regulation. Knowledge of zakat increase the people intention to pay zakat. Knowledge plays a role in raising awareness among individuals, motivating them to fulfill their zakat obligations. From attitude, which is an individual attitude towards contributing income zakat, how they perceive the obligation of paying zakat, and plays a role in paying income zakat. This attitude shapes the intention to give zakat, suggesting that someone with a positive attitude towards zakat payment is more inclined to purposefully fulfill their obligations. For government policy, to examine the effectiveness of the government policy regarding income zakat utilized in Johor. So the researcher aims to determine whether respondents are aware that there are policies related to zakat. For credibility, to study the credibility of Majlis Agama Islam from respondents' perspective. Transparency, to studying the respondent perspective on Majlis Agama Islam transparency among Johor residents. Assessing the level of satisfaction among Johor's Muslim population regarding the zakat-related information presented by Majlis Agama Islam for their awareness. Lastly is zakat intention, studying the respondent intention to pay income zakat, assessing their intention and awareness of their eligibility to pay zakat, the condition for zakat payment, and the implication if they fail to fulfill their obligations. There is some limitations for our research where Majlis Agama Islam is a very confidential, have a very confidential data. So from there is a significant impact for generalizability of finding in the study, which first is incomplete picture, second is bias or inaccuracy and limited insight into credibility and transparency, where without sufficient information from Majlis Agama Islam, the evaluation of this factor might be compromised, affecting the depth and insight of provided. So I think that's all from me. So I will let Haikal to elaborate more in chapter 2. Thank you.
Next. Okay, thank you, Maizura, for the beautiful explanation of chapter 1. Now I'm going to talk about chapter 2, which is the literature review. First, I'm going to talk about the zakat on income itself. Zakat on income is a mandatory charitable practice for eligible Muslims. Eligible means that someone has the right to perform the zakat on income based on some terms. Zakat is distinct from the taxation. Both of the calculation are different with their own specific criteria. This is rooted in the view that income wealth is a significant revenue of source, said Al-Hashimi 2014. Second is the zakat institution in Malaysia. As we focus in Johor, we are going to talk about MAIJ, Majlis Agama Islam Johor, which this institution play a crucial role in collecting and distributing zakat in Johor Bahru. This is the example of nisab for individual, 85 grams of gold, and a minimum salary of RM 24,464.05 and have a surplus income. The standard zakat rate for 2023 is 2.5% of the total annual income for the year. The fund will be allocated for the asnaf to promote social and economic equity. However, concern arise due to transparency issues and the need for more effective enforcement and regulatory update, said Hassan 2022. Next, this is the example of zakat income payment, the calculation. So as we can see here, the total income for the year is 46,200, which is more than the minimum salary. Then will be minus with the expenses, So the income will be minus with the total expenses and we'll get 25,400, and then will be multiplied with 2.5% rate for 2023. We'll get 635 for the year, and divided by 12, we'll get 53 ringgit for the monthly. Next. The third is the challenges in achieving targeted collection. Concern arise from March to 2023, where they failed to achieve their target of zakat collection, which the total of 66% of the whole Johor. This is very crucial. The deficit may be attributed to the changes in psychological, political, and also organizational factor. The fourth is the lack of intention among Muzaki. Insufficient knowledge among the Muzaki contributes to the shortfall of the collection of zakat itself. This is somehow due to the misunderstanding of zakat importance, its sources, and the payment method, said Bahrain 2019. Next. We are going to use the SWOT analysis for our strategic tools. We have strengths, weakness, opportunities, and also threats. So for the first strength is religious significance and obligation. Zakat is deeply rooted in Islamic teaching. This is due because we as a Muslim, we are obligated to pay zakat because it is included in Rukun Islam number 3. The second strength is established zakat institution. The presence of long-standing zakat institution like MAH play an important role in collection and distribution of zakat in Johor Bahru. As for the weaknesses, the first weakness, lack of awareness and understanding. Limited understanding of the significance and process of zakat on income. As we know, people pay zakat fitrah every year in Ramadan, but somehow they didn't realize that they also need to pay for zakat on income. This is due to the misunderstanding of the concept of the zakat income itself. The second weakness is the inconsistent information disclosed. Insufficiency and inconsistency of data disclosed by zakat institution, for example, MAH itself. As for the opportunities, the first one is the government policy enhancement. By improving policy enforcement, it can increase the zakat contribution and overall compliances. The second opportunity is educational initiative. By increasing the intention, it can lead to increase the compliance and a more informed Muslim community about their zakat obligation. Last one is the threat. Inadequate law enforcement. Zakat law enforcement is inconsistent and underappreciated. This is because there is no punishment for the person that didn't pay for their zakat. The second one is the transparency challenges. Transparency in reporting standard and organization operation is lacking inside zakat institution. Same, for example, like MAH itself. Next. This is the example where we got our some information from Jauhar, which is Jabatan Wakaf Zakat and Haji from the website. Still, there is lack of information here. There is no 2022, no 2023. The first one, the second one is for 2021. Still ada kemaskini, and the last one is 2020. There is lack of information here. As same as in MAH also, there is no statistic shown in the website. Okay, next we're going to here is our conceptual framework. For dependent variable, we have income, zakat, intention, and participation. For the independent variables, we have 5: attitude, knowledge, government policy, credibility, and transparency. Sorry. The first one here, I'm going to talk about the dependent variable. Zakat on income, intention, and participation. Okay, this variable will be analyzed in relation to the independent variables, attitude, knowledge, government policy, organizational credibility, and transparency. The study here aims to explore how changes in the variables may link to the reported lack of intention, in Muslim communities, said Khamis 2014. Next is the attitude. Attitude towards zakat. Attitude towards zakat refers to a person's mental state, includes of the feeling, thought, and judgment. According to Bahrain 2019, the construct is grounded in established psychological theory with its validity and reliability assessed in the prior research. Well, according to Khamis Muhammad Saleh and Nawi 2014, the low collection was due to the lack of consent among Muslim personnel. And the last one is the study also found that attitude has significant impact on zakat intention, said Abashah Samah Sareh, Rashid Ramlan and Razi 2018. As for the knowledge, knowledge refers to a person deeply understanding about the zakat principle and their impact on income. According to Adila 2021, emphasized that solid understanding of zakat is crucial for a person to fulfill their obligation towards paying the zakat. The inadequate understanding result in the lack of motivation and disinterest in paying zakat. According to Saad 2020 and Sejati 2018, they found that there is a positive and significant effect on the knowledge about the zakat on income payment intention. Okay, next. As for the government policy, as I said earlier, income tax and zakat payment are both separate. One is managed by LHDN and one is managed by state religious body. Unlike income tax, zakat is not automatically deducted, but individuals can choose to claim deduction under Section 44 Clause 6 of the Income Tax Act. According to Kamil 2006 and Hassan 2022, highlights that due to the light regulation and punishment to whom who fail to pay zakat, this led to reduce in motivation and the interest to pay the zakat. That is the credibility. Organization and institution credibility is for organization and institution credibility like my age is vital. According to Abidin Saad and Muhammad Muhayyuddin 2014, concern about adequacy and inconsistency of information disclosed by zakat institution highlight the potential issue stemming from the lack of transparency in reporting standard. As for the transparency, financial transparency, according to Hasrina, involve providing honest and clear financial information to the public, funder and organisation to uphold the accountability for entrusted resources and compliance with legal requirement. Here is our hypothesis development. Actually, it's the hypothesis statement. Hypothesis number one is the attitude and knowledge have a significant influence on intention of zakat on income payment. Hypothesis number two, government policy has a significant influence on the intention of zakat on income payment. Hypothesis three is the credibility and transparency have a significant influence on the awareness of zakat income payment. Now I'm going to pass to next presenter, Nurin. Thank you.
Thank you, Haikal, and good morning, everyone. Today I will present through chapter 3 of our research, where we delve into the design and methodology of our zakat intention among people living in Pasir Gudang, Muar, and Johor Bahru. So comes in the research design. Next. This is design in chapter 3. We carefully crafted our research design to best examine the factor impacting in zakat on income intention. We choose a quantitative approach as our study aim to measure the relationship between variables in a structured manner. This aligns with our detective strategy of testing proposed association. So moving on to our sampling design, we have for probability sampling with a simple random sample. So our target population includes 70,978 Muzaki individual from the 3 selected area. We choose this method to ensure the fairness and representative in our sample. So for the next, our research instrument. Next slide. Next, our research instrument. Research instrument, the questionnaire is a crucial tool. We meticulously develop question covering the demographic, attitudes, knowledge, government policy, credibility of zakat institution, transparency and intention to income zakat contribution. We adapt question from existing study, ensuring the reliability and relevance. So moving into the fieldwork and data collection. So this is questionnaire we will use. Next. Next. The fieldwork and data collection method, we emphasize the importance of well-constructed questionnaire and the use of stratified random sampling. Ethical the considerations such as informed consent and participant privacy are paramount in maintaining the integrity of our study. Now, let's discuss how we plan to analyze our data. Next slide. We have chosen multiple regression analysis. This statistical technique allows us to measure the impact of variable like knowledge on income zakat donation. It helps quantify the relationship, control for confounding variable, and assess statistical significance. So, one of it is the multiple independent variable, quantifying relationship. Next slide. Next. Control for confounding variables, statistical significance, and insight for policy and intervention. So to sum up, we have carefully selected a quantitative approach, employed probability sampling, developed a robust questionnaire, and outlined our data analysis plan. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
I would let other advisors, if you want to add on the comments, you can make. Because I think for this group, I've made quite generous comments already before the presentation day today. And I would say that there are number of areas that they need to tighten, to tighten. Not to say that this is the perfect graph already. In fact, I am still guiding them with the many areas that I feel need to be tightened up. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, please.
Is
Okay,
it
may
okay? Okay. First, congratulations, Maizura, Haikal, and Nurin. Okay, and Haikal justifies wearing the baju Melayu you are doing on zakat. All right, so basically, just maybe some things to ponder lah in terms of the title. You are looking at the examining factors influencing. Here you have intention and participation, because intention is like Dr. Azlin also mentioned, the first group is also doing on intention. So intention is like you just have the niat, like you want to do, but you haven't done it. But participation is you already doing that action. So this means need to separate these two things, and then you are actually measuring different things to me, because one is on the intention and the other one is on the participation. Okay, the second one in your title, you talk about the among civil servants. So this one, because you are talking about zakat, are you including the Muslim as well as the non-Muslims as well? So about the, because when you put the civil servants, it means it includes both the Muslims and the non-Muslim. That is with regard to the title. And then maybe in terms of the variables that you have chosen, maybe can use the TPB model or the theory of planned behavior by Acheson 1985, because I see that you have the attitude and then you have the intention. Yeah, attitude, intention, and then if you go for TPB, they have the intention, and then that move to the action or the behavior, that you have the participation later on, whereby your intention will be the mediating lah in that case. But for your level, I know that you only have the DV and IV, so maybe my suggestion just stop towards the intention rather than moving towards the behavior or the action or the participation, the term that you use on participation. Next one, on the in your title also you have the JB, MUA and Pasir Gudang. Maybe in the earlier parts in the introduction, you can in your I see your justification. So maybe you can look at Malaysia as a whole, and then why you choose Johor as your main focus. From that Johor, then you split into district. I think there are altogether 13 districts, but you choose JB, MUA and Pasir Gudang. From the graph that you show in, I'm not sure, slide number 3 or slide, you have the JB as the highest contributor, and secondly, you have Batu Pahat as the, from the graph that you show just now in your slides. I think that Batu Pahat is the second one, and Pasir Gudang is the third one, and not MUA, as this MUA will be like number 4. So maybe some justification why you choose JB, MUA and Pasir Gudang instead of JB, Batu Pahat and Pasir Gudang. Maybe lah, because I look at the graph, number 1 will be JB, number 2 will be Batu Pahat, and number 3 is Pasir Gudang in terms of the graph, the number of zakat collection. All right, so that can justify why you choose these 3 districts. And then in terms of the variable, you combine, I mean, the first one you have like, do you have 7 research questions? 7, right? So maybe just one, the 7 is to me is a lot for your study. Just that maybe you can combine rather than put 1 to 1. Means what are the fact number will be like 2 research questions instead of you highlighting all your variables in your research question. That could be what are the factors influencing the intention, rather than what does attitude and knowledge influence, does government policy influence, credibility, transparency influence, right? So rather than having 7 research questions, it's like there's a lot research. Unless you have that hypothesis, that's fine. But 7 hypotheses also quite a lot for your study to me. And then I see that you combine certain items like attitude and knowledge, isn't it? You combine attitude and knowledge. Whereas if you see attitude is different, like a 2 different spectrum. Attitude is how you behave, whereas when you look at the knowledge is the knowledge, the apa kita kata, the ilmu that you possess. So it's like measuring 2 different things, and yet you are combining attitude and knowledge. The same goes with, I think, then government policy as one, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I see that you combine attitude and knowledge, and then you have government policy on its own, and then you have credibility and transparency you combine, isn't it? All right. So credibility and transparency again are 2 different constructs. So when you combine, so which one are you going to measure? Are you going to measure credibility? Are you going to measure transparency in your questionnaire later on? Because these are different constructs. Okay. So my advice may be, because you have the attitude, you have the intention, maybe you can go for TPB, whereas you have the attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control towards your intention. That is just a suggestion. I think that's from me. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. May I okay, I'm also having the same opinion like PM Dr. Azrin, because for all 3 hypotheses, hypothesis number 1, you combine both attitude and knowledge. So you will have some problems when you are doing your analysis part later on. Okay, to test your relationship too, because you have to construct into one relationship, into one hypothesis. You have troubles with your hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 3. Hypothesis 2 is okay. That is on your hypothesis testing part. The other comment from me is regarding your terms used in your study. At some point you are using the civilian, something like that lah, as your respondent of your study. But again, in the other slide, you name is as public official. So tak consistent. Who is actually your respondent? What are the actual terms that you use to represent your respondent? Because if you, apa ya?
The public servant.
Public servant.
Muslim public servant lah actually.
Because at the back, at the other slide, it was stated as public official pula kat situ. Okay? Okay? And then throughout your presentations, you are using past tense for a proposal stage level. Was conducted, was surveyed, was what. You are not doing this yet. So how come you already have all of this stated as a past tense in your study? Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Alright, okay. Hello everyone. How are you?
Thank you.
Hari ni do about zakat, and hari ni is actually the last day to pay zakat kan for 2023. A perfect day to promote zakat. Okay, so I agree with the comments given by both, I would say, examiners. I agree on the title, so saya can just jump up to mana yang tak touch ke apa ke lah kan. Alright, so basically on your chapter 1, your objective and question, so try to be standardized, but probably you can take suggestions by PM atau Azri tadi tu, boleh tukarlah jadi dia compress saja lah, instead of having like lots of objectives and questions, probably compresskan je so nanti nampak cantik, because what I saw in your report is basically kind of when it's not standardized, they can create confusion to me. So when I read the objectives and also the questions, dia macam actually you nak cakap pasal siapa, you nak collect data ni daripada siapa sebenarnya. So ada partially saya rasa macam you have the intentions of collecting the data from the government servants. Partially ada macam daripada employees of MAIJ. So it's a little bit confusing. So probably you need to straighten it up. And then in your chapter 2, agreed again because you combine some of the variables, attitude and knowledge, attitude and knowledge. So it's actually carries out 2 different terms. You may take suggestions yang tadi tu to use TPB, but if let's say you want to, maybe you can talk to your supervisor lah. Maybe instead of taking the TPB, then you may remain some of the variables, but my suggestions is to take out attitude sebenarnya daripada you punya IV. Sebab attitude in your context of study, in your framework of study, attitude not supposed to be there. So attitude could be a mediator sebenarnya in your study. So the 4 variables, 2 attitude and then 2 intention, but it's going to create a very big framework lah for MBA. So maybe take up attitude as a whole terus lah. So the 4 variables leads to apa tadi tu, intention you punya zakat. And then on your chapter 3, you need to do a lot of corrections. Okay, so please read through again, word by word, letter by letter, sentence by sentence. Kena baca balik, because in your research design you mentioned about mediating and IV, mediating variable and IV, but it's basically you don't have any mediator kat dalam tu. Mediator variable, you don't have that, so please baca balik. And then you ada mention and then you mention pasal you have conducted a pilot study. Pilot study is basically to get some ideas on the respondents. I mean, like you actually collect the data, but tapi you punya description and the pilot study tu you mention something about to validate the question. So basically that is actually pre-test, but I'm not so sure whether you actually have conducted pilot study and also the pre-test. Tak sure lah, only you know the answer. And next one is questionnaire development. Some of the sections confuse me. Some of the sections are actually, you actually ask the questions. Ada certain variables, so you actually ask the questions, but some of the variables tu dah tak ingat dari mana. I think 2 atau 3 variables tu macam you kind of like describe something which I'm not so sure what is the intention at the end of the day, apa sebenarnya you nak dapat. And then in terms of questionnaire development, you also mentioned that you are going to have the questionnaires in terms of open-ended questions. So when it's an open-ended questions, I'm not so sure because saya tak master sangat methodology is not my area of experts lah. But if it's an open-ended, I would say it's a qualitative. But somehow in your research design, you say it's a quantitative. But if it's an open-ended, then you need to transcribe everything again. So I don't think it's I don't think it's quanti, it's actually qualitative. So if let's say you want to go towards that direction, that you need to revise the whole thing. So at this point of time, you should make up your mind lah. So is it a quali or quanti? Or if let's say you want to have both quali and quanti, might as well include in your descriptions lah under research design. Because in your, and again, why is it confusing? Because in 3.2, you mentioned it's quantitative design, but somehow in 3.5.2, you mentioned it's qualitative. So, itulah dia. And the next one is on overall basis, try to use the word researchers rather than we. Jangan guna we lah, kita guna researchers. Okay, and then of course lah, the past and present tense tadi tu as mentioned by, saya lupa nama tadi, Dr. Norazria. Okay, so it's actually a proposal. It's supposed to be either in present tense or future tense, not past tense. But later on in your report, nanti you tukar lah. Okay, alright. So thank you.
Can I just add a little bit on that? On the research, on the chapter 3 research methods just now, about your sampling, because I see that you are using the probability sampling, probability sampling because you are using stratified random sampling, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, you are using stratified random sampling, but I'm worried that you're going to have problems with it later on because it's kind of for you to get the sample means you have to really go for the Pasir Gudang, for Mua and the JB, means for the whole population. And then how are you going to know how many Muslims are there, how many non-Muslims are there? And then about are you going to anybody or someone that is paying zakat or someone that is, you think that eligible to pay zakat, or because means it's very difficult for you if you are using for probability sampling later on. So my suggestion is just go for non-probability sampling in this case. Maybe like you can discuss with your supervisor, like the convenience sampling or something else. Snowball sampling depends. But my suggestion is not to go for probability. You're going to have problems later on. And to identify the sampling frame itself, when you can only use probability sampling when you have your sampling frame. But in this case, it's quite difficult for you. So my suggestion, go for non-probability sampling. All right.
Thank you, the panel of advisors. Actually, in fact, I have raised all these, all of these comments to the group. I hope you can take it positively. You don't get discouraged by these comments. For example, I was at the outset, I raised the question whether are you able to access to the data, because some of the information statistics are not available. Accessibility to the data is very fundamental for any research. So if you are not able to come up with good data, how do you, for example, reflect on the findings later on to make a good judgment or recommendations later on? For example, there are difference between those who are eligible for paying and those who already paid or zakat payers. The statistics are ambiguous. For example, you indicate the whole populations of Muslim community in Johor, but then there are different category, and you are focusing on civil servants in Johor, but then also the numbers are still arbitrary. You don't get the right numbers in terms of the population of the civil servants and those who are eligible to pay. Yeah, and also I think I agree with all the comments. For example, I think the scope of the research are too huge already. It's already like PhD research. You don't need to be so ambitious about doing this study within short time frame. I think you need to scale down a bit. Yeah, there are too many constructs in your research objective that raises a question whether that is doable with the short time frame. Yeah. And I think one solutions that Dr. Rara has highlighted just now, probably you can merge some of the key variable rather than make it too wide and beyond reach to cover within the short time frame. And also theory, yeah, you haven't actually come up with the theory or the conceptual framework really. So you need to really identify the variables, connect to any model or theories before you come up with your conceptual framework. But this is grossly missing in your chapter 2, obviously. Yeah, and other comments, I concur with that. I agree with that. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you. Group 3 jangan terasa hati.
Tak
Yang
ada.
penting semua untuk menambah baik saja. Termasuk grup-grup lain, take notes every comment from kata advisor, peluang awak untuk menambah baik your proposal for the sake of kata senang nanti masa Viva. Thank you very much. I proceed
Thank you,
to group
Dr.
number 4.
Okay, Doktor.
I apologize to leave early, Dr. Tahira and all. I apologize to leave early, yeah.
Okay, Prof. Thank you very much for your
Thank you, Prof.
cooperation and your values of inputs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, kita continue dengan group yang terakhir. Group 4. Semua dah ready ke?
Sekejap. Dia try share.
Okay, Farah senyum sikit, Farah.
Nervous. Idris, Nishanas. Okay.
Okay, one. Yeah.
Ada gambar.
Can we start?
Yes, you may. All the best.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all panels and advisors. So today our group will introduce each teammate. My name is Farah Izamati Muhammad Zainal.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Shanas.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Idris Hakim. So we will continue the for our title
Factors influence student enrollment at UTM space. Okay, hi everyone. Okay, I will be presenting. Okay, hi everyone. So I will be presenting the chapter 1 of our research. In this presentation, researcher will explore the various factors that play a significant role in influence student enrollment at UTM space. So as we choose the study title linked to the Malaysia Higher Education Institutions, a little bit information about HEI will be elaborated. Then we will commence by providing an overview of UTM and UTM space. In the upcoming segment, we will explain the problem statement arise that lead us to conduct this study. And also the next research objective, research questions, and significance of the study will be present for the final parts of this chapter 1. In the year of 2022, the enrollment figure for students in public university reached about 595,624, while those in private university institution amounted to 513,523 students. Another 77,816 students opted for enrollment in polytechnic, and the rest 15,000 pursue their academic adventure within community college. Okay, a total of 20 public university in Malaysia can be classified into 3 distinct categories, which are research university, focused university, and also the comprehensive university. Besides that, public university in Malaysia offer the undergraduate and also postgraduate programs. This field of study encompass various fields such as general programs, arts and humanities, social science, business and law, service, education, and the latest field that been focused on in Malaysia is STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. According to the Higher Education Report written by the Policy Planning and Research Division, Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, in 2019, the total enrollment in higher education institutions across Malaysia stood at 1,323,449 students. The percentage recorded is actually is a decreasing situation by 7.5 in the year of 2019, and toward the year of 2022, 9.16% is the total percentage recorded on the decreasing number of students enrolled. So we go to the background of UTM and UTM space. University Technology Malaysia, UTM, is widely recognized as the leading institutions in Malaysia for its expertise in engineering, science, and technology. UTM was founded in 1972 with current 3 campuses and presented by 12 faculties. UTM Space was officially launched in July 1993. It's an event manager for conducting UTM academic programs for undergraduate, such as foundations, diploma, and degree. UTM is dedicated to its vision and mission of delivering high-quality continuing education services for Malaysian and also for the international students. So the current landscape of tertiary education is marked by an array of complexity, and among the pivotal challenges faced by academic institutions is the fluctuating enrollment rates. This research seeks to address the pressing issue of factor influence student enrollment at UTM space. Considering the esteemed standing of UTM, the UTM space and also the UTM, it is crucial to possess a comprehensive comprehension of the factor that influence student choices pertaining to enrollment. This research is focusing on the part-time student who persist in their tertiary education on the bachelor courses at UTM space. Okay, referring to this statistic of student enrollment for part-time degree program at UTM space, a noticeable decrease in student enrollment at UTM space was observed from 2019 to 2022. From the above figure, the number of students enrolled for part-time degree program at UTM space has declined since the year of 2019. By 2020, the percentage decreased by 21.78%, followed by 18.43% in 2021, recorded from 624 students to 573 students. The overall number of students enrolled for part-time degree program at UTM space fell by almost 41% between the years of 2019 to 2022. This shows a serious research or study need to be conducted to investigate and to determine the gap and issue on the factor contribute to this problem and come up with the recommendations and crucial action to counter this problem. Okay, back to the problem statement. UTM space as an substantive contributor to the UTM fiscal revenue. This reduction in revenue can affect UTM's financial sustainability and its ability to invest in academic resources, research, and infrastructure. UTM strategy, initiative, and plan may be influenced by the financial implications, long-term projects, research endeavor, and also other strategic goals may need to be reevaluated and adjust. The continuous of lower number of students enrolled will affect the program offering, limit the university capacity to invest in innovative research, project, and collaboration. Other than that, UTM as an overall institution also need to reassessing the hiring staff and other human resources considerations. So there are five research objectives that have been lined up for this study, which are the first, to investigate the factor influence student enrollment at UTM space, to determine the relationship of brand image on student enrollment at UTM space, and then to determine the relationship of service quality on student enrollment at UTM space, and the fourth one, to determine the relationship of the the university reputations in influencing student enrollment at UTM space, and the fifth one is to determine the relationship of financial factor on student decision to enroll at UTM space. Regarding the research objective mentioned previously, this study come out with a few research questions, such as the first one, is there any significant relationship between brand image of UTM space on student enrollment? The second one, is there any significant relationship between service quality on student decision to enroll at UTM space? And then, is there any significant relationship between the university reputation in influencing student enrollment at UTM space? And the last one is there any significant relationship between financial factor in influencing student enrollment at UTM space? So the significance of this study is focusing on the practitioner, especially UTM space. This study will assist UTM space to identify the specific factor that influence student enrollment, and by understanding this element, it can lead to more and better effective marketing and recruitment strategies to attract and retain students. For the significance of this study toward the industry, which is the higher education institution, the discoveries and best practices identified at UTM space can provide useful guidance for other institutions within the same sphere. They also can use the research to better adapt to the changing market condition and shift in student preferences. And also for the academics, this study can provide valuable future reference for researchers and practitioners engaged in similar field of inquiry. Other than that, future researchers can also study the dynamic of student enrollment in higher education institutions and gain practical insight into the component that affect the student choices. So I pass to Ms. Shanas for chapter 2. Thank you.
Microphone, Shanas.
Sorry. Okay, thank you, Farah. So now on this chapter 2, we'll discuss on the key literature reviews on the strategic tools, conceptual frameworks, literature reviews of the IVs, hypotheses, developments, and strategic tools, also academic construct. The present chapter aims to delve into previous research, endorse and establish the frameworks that will be employed in the current studies. So additionally, it includes the rationale behind the selections of theoretical frameworks. Next. Okay. Literature reviews on the student enrollments at UTM space impart the importance of shaping institution offerings, support service to ensure the sustained enrollments and contribute to the advance of higher education. To successfully adapt with this framework to UTM space, it is essential to gather more information regarding the specific characteristic of UTM space itself. So the adaptation of the framework will depend on the similarities and the difference between UTM space and the universities mentioned in origin frameworks. If there's a significant difference in exist, the framework will be necessary to accurate the capture UTM space unique dynamic. But conversely, if similar exists, the minor adjustment can be made to incorporate in UTS space specific variables. So the literature review aims to explore the relationship of the student enrollments at UTS space by drawing the relevant statistics and scholar resources to provide comprehensive understanding in this phenomenon. So here's the framework. The study of academic provide insights of various dynamics underlying the principles of governance itself. As a show figure below, the research suggests that following conceptual frameworks for the research. So the framework show the concept relationship between the independence variables such as brand image, service quality, university reputation, and financial factor, and the dependence variable of student enrollment at UTN space. So now I will explain on the key of the concept variables of the studies. The dependence variables are the student enrollment at UTN space. So the purpose of the literature review is then to investigate the trends and the factors that affect UTN space student enrollments. So by Barbara Beshkit, Burnett, and Kanenis, 2018, explain that demographic plays a significant role in student enrollment pattern. So the several studies has investigated the impacts of age, gender, ethnic, and geographical locations on enrollments of UTN space. So besides, by P. Mahanan 2021 also explained that quality of education encompass academic standards, industry linkage, campus placement, cost deliveries, infrastructure facilities, faculty quality service, and academics are non-academic concerns. So this research also has been supported by the Costa de Silva 2021. The factors analyzed include program quality, attained program opportunities, scholarship opportunities, job prospects, and social facilities, including physical condition of those of greatest impact in university selections. Next are the independence variables. For hypothesis 1, brand image. According to Marfon Matsi 2021, brand image significant influence student decision to attend higher education. The research revealed that the brand image of university play crucial roles in student choice, which factors such as brand recognition, reflection of education's needs, and equal access to learning opportunities being important considerations. This variable also supported by Kasanov, Box, Bolutz, and Villa 2020. University brand image is enhanced by the proper orientations and trainings. For students are provided as well as improved reputation, accessibility, innovation, and aesthetic effects component. For hypothesis 2, service quality defined as a meeting students' needs and exceed expectations, including expressing academic or any non-academic services, program, reputation, and access. According to AG Mastoy, 2019, the quality service in service education district is significant factor considered to attract and retain students in general. It was also explored the university must realize the education service and other service that university must start focus on student performance and well-being while they deliver the service. Besides, the variables also supported by H and Merge 2019. In general, customer perception of service quality can be measured and evaluated through service quality, which include physical facilities, employee performance, the equipment used, and physical presentations, and the readiness of employees to provide service and help customers. For the hypothesis number 3, university reputation. This research analyzed the crucial roles of university reputations in shaping student enrollment decision. This underscores the pivotal roles of university reputation in shaping student perception and decision regarding higher education institution. According to SR result 2022, the university reputation were found to have strong positive influence to student intention to choose them, especially a higher reputation lead to stronger intentions among students to select particular university. Therefore, by research by Musa 2019, the research has shown that students are more likely to choose a university with a positive reputation for delivering high quality education, which attracts students to seek reputation institutions. Students believe that attending prestige institutions will enhance their employability prospect, which reputation is also play crucial parts in guiding the selections and evaluating process, serve into significant factor alongside quality. And lastly, for hypothesis 4, financial factor. In the context of higher education, comprise a wide range of education, include tuition fees, scholarship, financial aids, and cost of living. Based on article write-off financial aid programs of enrollment, highlights by Biki Maji, the impact of financial aids for enrollment, highlight the importance of tuition-free, flexible financial assistance, accessibilities, and affordable to influence student choice. Meanwhile, in finding Gans Connie 2022, suggests that students are highly concerned about the cost of education, are reliant on the scholarships to reduce their financial burdens, indicates the critical source of financial assistance in attract potential students. Next. So here are our research developments. This hypothesis has been formalized by based on rigorous examination that are relevant academic studies and scholarship insights. By explore and analyze this relationship, the researcher aim to contribute to understanding how the factor influence student enrollment and UTS space. For hypothesis 1, there is a significant relationship between brand image and student enrollment at UTS space. It was supported by the S-Shade Study 2023, highlight the importance of student satisfaction as a mediation of the relationship to enhance the university brand image, which approach a support by the researcher finding. Hypothesis 2, there is a significant relationship between service quality and the student enrollment at UTS space. Research by C. Bellux Akin 2019 defines service quality as the effort of fulfill needs and desire of consumer and accurate of delivery balance consumer expectations. Previous study has been shown that high quality service provided by education institutions can positively impact the student satisfaction and enrollment decision. For hypothesis 3, there's a significant relationship between university reputations and the student enrollment at UTS space. The research by ZQ 2021 indicates that a positive reputation can significantly influence the student intention to choose a specific university. Therefore, the hypothesis 4, there is a significant relationship between financial factor and the student enrollment at UTS space. On the other hand, the paper by the researcher by J. Bennett Beck 2022 find that degree completion among enrolled students increase with the introduction of the fee, which suggests that fee may have positive impact on the study efforts and education quality. And here's our researcher's academic construct. The application of SWOT analysis in the research is based on effectiveness in evaluating the internal strength and weakness of the education institution UTS space, and to identify the external opportunities and threats. By analyzing the institution internal resources, capabilities, and competitive advantage, strength, as well as the area improvement of limitation, weakness, researcher can gain a comprehensive understanding of UTS-based current situations. In additionally, conducting of SWOT analysis allows researcher to identify and analyze the external factor, analyze the opportunities available for the institution to expand and expand its offerings, as well as potential threats or challenges that may face in attract the retaining student enrollments. So this analysis will help to develop implement strategy that lead to a sustainable competitive advantage. The academic construct framework for this is the academic construct framework for the factor influence student enrollment UTS space includes SWOT analysis, for bright propensity understanding, factor influence student enrollment at UTS space. So the figures outline show the strength, weakness, opportunities, and the threats can influence student enrollment at UTS space. It also incorporates into tools analysis, which is a way to identify the strategies that UTS space can use to overcome its weakness, take advantage of the opportunities, and neutralize threats and build its strength. So by understanding this factor, UTS space can develop strategies to increase student enrollment and achieve its academic goal. So now I will pass the next slide to next presenter.
It is mute.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Shanas. Okay, I will continue on chapter 3, research methodology, which will be research design, sampling design, research instrument, fieldwork and data collection method, and data analysis techniques. Research design. The study on relationship between brand image, service quality, utilization, financial factors, and student enrollment. Okay, the purpose of the study is to clarify the impact of the current situation in higher education institution on student enrollment. The type of study will be based on quantitative approach to study the hypothesis and the outcome. While the unit analysis is the analysis for this research is individual students within the UTM space community itself. And the time horizon is 1 month time eligible. Respondents will receive survey, questionnaire, and the process of data collection will comment. All of that will be in 1 month time. Okay. The next one is sampling design. On sampling design, the target population for this research, the focus is on first-year students who have successfully enrolled part-time degree in UTM space for the year of 2023, and the total number of students is 450. The sampling element is part-time students registered under UTM space and currently pursuing their study by taking the bachelor degree program. The selection criteria involve the student of UTM space as well as their gender, age, group, academic qualification, monthly income, and also employment status. And for sampling technique, we use researchers choose the convenient sampling technique, which is selecting individuals who are easily accessible and willing to take part in the study. For sampling size, the estimated student population will be around 450 students, adapting to the data sampling from research scholar journal written by Research on 2023, and also from several sampling by Umar Kesaran. So we choose the sample size for this research is 230 respondents. On research instrument, test administered questionnaire will be used to collect data from the participants. The questionnaire will be designed to measure all of variables of the study. Okay, we will measure the brand image, service quality, utilization, financial factors, and student enrollment. In this study, this means that the questionnaire will be include questions that measure brand image, service quality, utilization, financial factors, and student enrollment. The self-analytic question will serve as primary tool for the data collection in the study, and this method offers several advantages, including one, cost effectiveness, which is questionnaire are relatively inexpensive and two, administer and can reach a larger sample participant. Two, standardization, which is questionnaire ensure consistency in data collection, reducing potential bias from individual variability. And the third one is anonymity. Self-administered questionnaire allow participants to respond anonymously, encouraging honest and unbiased responses. Next. Okay. Fieldwork and data collection method. So we use researchers will use primary data research, data on student enrollment from UTM space equipment and student enrollment. The secondary data research is information from the government publication, statistics records from Ministry of Higher Education. Data collection instrument is questionnaires inclusive with introduction, instruction, demographic data, and close-ended questions. Data analysis technique. Researchers use scientific social statistics software, SPSS, using SPSS to analyze collected data. SPSS software is enabled descriptive analysis, variability check, and correlation analysis to analyze tests. 230 questionnaires will be distributed to the UTM undergraduate students to test the hypothesis using SPSS. The Pearson correlation has been used to see significant correlations between student decision to enroll at UTM space. Descriptive analysis to provide the summarization of data about the samples and help the researcher simplify an impression of the data collected. Utilized to provide simple summaries of the frequency of central tendency such as mode, median, and mean of relevant data. Demographic profile of the target respondents, age, gender, education, and income of enrolled. And for them at these two different groups. For demographic data used for analysis, which is age, education, and ANOVA is to determine whether there are any significant differences between three more and the unrelated groups. Second correlation. Statistical measure that involve fitting a straight line to a set of data points from two variables. It represents the percentage of variance in the dependent variable explained by the independent variables. As of in the table, the degree correlation and Pearson value. Weak correlation will be from 0.00 to 0.049. Moderate correlation will be from 0.50 to 0.69, and strong correlation will be from 0.70 to 0.100. Deviation analysis. Mathematical technique employed for examining linear relationship begins by postulating a general type of relationship referred to the regression model. As a formula, y denoted as dependent variable represents a numeric value varying from individual to individual within the population and serve as the primary focus of interest, while x1 and xk denoted as independent variable differing among individuals and hypothesis to have a relationship with y, and the residual terms capturing the cumulative impact of all other types of human variation not explicitly defined within the model. That's all from our group. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Group 4. I really hope that the other examiners could, or the other supervisors could provide with some questions and also comments. Sebab saya dah baca kali kan, so hopefully I could hear from other people. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, saya nak tanya ya. Sekejap. Buka tempat. Okay, my first question will be on the title. Yours is factor influence something kan?
Dr. Azhar, you ada echo lah Dr. Azhar.
Nampak? Tak ada echo. Farah, you kena mute kan? Hello?
Okay, better.
Better? Okay, my opinions, your tajuk is factors influence something like that kan? Factors influence student enrollment at UTM space. I believe it's either factors influencing student enrollment or factors that influence. It should be that way, the grammar part lah. Factors influencing blah 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 or factors that influence. If you want to keep this one, it should be factors that influence, ada that in between factors and influence. Satulah. And then secondly, regarding your context, why you choose your UTM space in the first place, you should justify on that. Okay, I don't know if I'm the one who tak perasan you punya penjelasan tu, but I don't see the justifications on that. Because at your impact statement in your slide, you said the impact is towards higher institutions enrollment. The impact of your study is toward higher institutions enrollment to justify on the enrollment part. But again, your study is only on UTM space. And I don't think so the finding could be generalized to the whole populations of higher institutions. So the impact will be to UTM space only. Okay. And then regarding your constructs or your study variables, your financial factors variable, I hope this could be specific into what financial factors. If we refer back to your literature review, your financial factors are reflecting towards financial aids or financial assistance. If we are reflecting from your literature review slide, financial factors is something relevant to financial aids or financial assistance. But here you just mentioned it as financial factor, and that is too general. Okay, hopefully you can be very specific what kind of financial factors that you are looking toward to be studied. And then why you use ANOVA? Why you have ANOVA testing in your study? I don't see any comparisons between groups that you have in your study. Ada ke comparison between two groups? Because you are having ANOVA in your study, and I don't see why you need this in your study unless you have to make a comparison between two groups. Itulah saja daripada saya. Thank you.
All right. Okay. I'm Raja Ezrin. Congratulations, Idris, Shanas, and Farah, for reaching this far. All right. I basically written the same comment like Dr. Azhar just now. So the first one is on the justification lah. The justification why you choose UTM space, because you generally mention about the higher institutions, and then why you choose UTM space. I know because one of you is working at UTM space, but that cannot be means justification for your write-up lah. Okay, next one. In your slides, you have the graph that you show. You have kemasukan, you have enrollment, you have keluaran. I'm not sure whether it's slides number 3 or so you have that one, the slides that show the line graph that show the this one, kemasukan, enrollment, and keluaran. My question is there any difference between kemasukan and enrollment, or what is the difference between kemasukan and enrollment? Is it enroll means the students that already registered, isn't it? Is that what you mean by enrollment?
Sorry, Doctor. Okay, this is from Ministry of Higher Education by Statistical. So kemasukan is mean like not maybe not the new student only, the overall kemasukan. The enrollment is for the new.
So in your study, means you have to clarify. Are you looking at means the kemasukan and enrollment? Which one?
Okay, Doctor.
The echo. Maybe you can turn off. All right. Okay. So next one is on the variables that you have. You have a brand. The one thing is about the financial factors. Yes, I agree with Dr. Azhar, because I also wrote on the, when you talk about the financial factors, are you looking at the the student's financial stability, or are you looking at the financial assistance given by UTM or UTM space, or are you looking at the financial assistance given by the government or any other sponsors, or are you talking about the scholarship? So about the financial factors, this one, be clear on what do you mean by financial factors. And then next one on the brand image and university reputation. I'm not really sure about what is brand image and how does it differ from university reputation. When you talk about the brand image, are you talking about UTM space itself, the brand image of UTM? And then when you talk about the university reputation, how you differentiate between these two? So in terms of the definition, you have to be clear in terms of the brand image and university reputation. And then again, I see the ANOVA, because ANOVA is basically you want to see the differences between more than two groups, right? But in your research objective, I don't see you have anything that you want to see the differences between more than two groups. So I don't see the use of ANOVA in any way to answer your research objectives or your research questions. So I would see you're going to use the multiple regression to answer this one. And then maybe further tighten up lah in terms of your definition for all the IVs as well as your DV just now in terms of when you talk about the enrollment. All right. So thank you.
Hello everyone, boleh dengar suara saya kan? Boleh. Okay. Alright. Group ni saya terpaksa batch in advisors. Sebab ada dua orang kata advisor yang tanya soalan cepu cemas. Kenapa UTM space? I think group 4 ni tak jawab soalan tu tadi. Anyone can answer?
Okay, the reason we choose UTM space because the three of us is from different background. So so we after we do some reading on the literature, and we decided to choose not easy but accessible to have the scholar and everyone can some sort of discuss the same ideas. So we choosing UTM space because the maybe like the nearest, and we have a connections with this UTM space person in charge.
Okay Farah. Sorry Dr. Azlin, coordinator kena bacain sikit. Okay, why I question this one? Because kita ada dua group, satu group, dua sem lepas doing the same tajuk. Okay. So I am kata kejap lagi saya akan bagi full PDF kepada Dr. Azlin. Thank God Dr. Azlin bukan daripada Johor, so I believe dia akan tengoklah compare the ni, sebab apa yang Dr. Raja Azrin sebut tadi, apa beza enrollment dengan pendaftaran tu, you kena very kata critically tengok, look in depth on that particular matter. Kalau tidak, benda dah jadi sama, takut jadi plagiarize. Okay? So itu yang saya nak tahu kenapa you buat UTM space. And again, the same question I asked previous group tu, kenapa tak buat ISAP since you lagi accessibility to ISAP? Kalau you nak accessibility dari segi data ke apa, tapi again, you need to have a very strong justification bila you buat another higher institution. Itu sahaja bagi saya. Okay? Alright. So later on, nanti we'll discuss with Dr. Azlin on this matter. Okay? Any other comments from advisors?
Basically to me dah okay lah, cuma just that maybe the variables when you choose, I'm not sure to what extent at your level ni you perlu ada theory, but how you come out with all these variables, to me kena ada some basis lah on the normally we frame this one, how you come out dengan conceptual framework ni based on certain theory that has been well established, then only you identify all these variables. And then again to avoid tadi nanti apa convergence validity ni on the university reputation and the brand image, so kena be clear on the one to another lah. So that's basically before nanti bila dah data collection kita tak naklah patah balik kenapa kita punya construct ni salah and so on. So tu yang kena check betul-betul before you move on to the variables that you have chosen to avoid any future once dah dapat data dan patah balik silap lah kita punya model. So that's the thing lah, so that dekat sini you kena tighten up so that you boleh avoid all the future problems, possible future problems. Alright, so basically itu saja. Thank you very much.
Dr. Azlin nak cakap apa-apa?
Tak keluar pula. Okay, hi. Okay, wow, panas. Itu dia. Alright, so okay, so okay, how do I put it? Okay, so this group came to me with 2 different topics. So if I'm not mistaken, 2 different topics from 2 different areas lah. So they have suggested 2 areas. Dua-dua tu bidang yang berbeza. Satu UTM space and another one I forgot which one. So we had this Google Meet meeting lah. So I was the one who chose UTM space actually. And then they came up with several options of frameworks, but I rejected all. So I rejected all, and then I advised to them is to actually find a very stable framework, or a framework yang dah stable. Try not to have any modifications, which means that taken from previous journal, in which the journal also came up, also provide with the questionnaires. So questionnaires, the questionnaires that they will distribute later will be something that not being developed by them, is actually yang dah developed and dah diguna pakai by previous scholars lah. So, but other than that, whatever that Dr. Tahira has mentioned just now, I'm going to take that into considerations and also we'll read through the PDF. So saya dah buka lah sikit, so saya tak baca lagi. So saya baru tengok dekat table of content. So from the table of content, I could see that the variables are not the same. So dekat situ nampak macam selamat sekejap. Selain daripada saya yang pilih, saya juga yang pilih framework tu dan juga selain daripada table of content tu, dan kita tengoklah lagi yang lain-lain tu. And also another one yang nak menyelamatkan korang is basically because of the years of the citations lah. Itu je lah kot. But other than that, in terms of the ethical part, in terms of benda-benda lain, that one we're gonna dig deeper lah. So bukan nak takutkan, but all 3 of you should be very careful. Because when I do my job, I do my job.
Okay, Dr. Azlin, I think you guys kena faham Dr. Azlin bekas koordinator EMBA Melaka. Jadi dia tahu how piranha dengan orang kata tiger, shark kat atas tu akan korek kita punya orang kata student punya prestasi. Sebab tu I think we are in the same wavelength bila I boleh orang kata kautin je dengan Dr. Azlin. Dia semak sendiri je the full PDF yang I already given to her. Dia dah buka pun. First phase I think dah okay dah kan. Tengok table of content. So again, jangan risau. Saya bagi awal-awal supaya apa-apa, supaya selagi boleh diselesaikan peringkat awal, kita selesaikan peringkat awal. Betul tak Dr. Azlin? Alright, okay. So that, thank you very much to all of you yang masih setia, Dr. Azlin, Dr. Azairia, okay, Dr. Raja Azrin, and all the students yang masih lagi berada di sini. I'm going to show you where am I right now, tengah kata driving. Okay, dah sampai rumah pun. Alhamdulillah 2 jam beratur menguruskan urusan anak. But thank you to Muna yang tak boleh nak pergi toilet pun uruskan you all. Thank you so much. All the best and correction should be done accordingly. Okay, but markah advisor dah boleh bagi dah. Okay, alright. So hope the best. Kita fokus yang ABP ni akan dijalankan secara baik juga untuk semester hadapan. Doa baik-baik insyaAllah. Right, one more semester sahaja. Okay, insyaAllah. Assalamualaikum semua. Thank you very much. Tak ada makan, tak ada minum.
Nak ambil gambar semua boleh tak?
Boleh. Tapi bukan saya yang Muna ya. Saya dekat kereta ni. Tak cantik
You all
gambar ni.
open the camera. Thank you.
InsyaAllah boleh tu semua. Dah on the right track dah. Sikit je lagi.
Dengar tu.